It's one of the absolute best camera specialist phones of 2025, but does it feel a little less ultra than last year? Xiaomi has taken the lead internationally as one of the premier solutions for mobile photography, standing toe-to-toe with companies like Oppo, Vivo, and Huawei, delivering phones with cameras that are starting to step into quality comparable to more expensive standalone bridge cameras or micro four thirds solutions. The tip of the spear, the bleeding edge, the phones using the most exotic bits and pieces, while phones sold in North America are falling roughly 3 years behind in terms of hardware. But 2025 will also be remembered as a year where global supply instability and rising prices on components meant every phone manufacturer had to explore compromises to rein in costs. Where the 15 Ultra here scores some impressive improvements, we also lose a few things that made the 13 and 14 Ultras unique. Now, I wrapped up my Vivo deep dive in a similar place. It is not a foregone conclusion that the 15 Ultra will be the better phone for your needs, and you could be better off with a 14 Ultra on sale. For my own personal needs, the Xiaomi hits hard, but it hasn't completely replaced my Vivo X200 Pro as a B-roll camera for my videos and reviews. Of course, people probably aren't going to carry 3 phones like I do, so we should probably dig in here and see if this is going to be the right fit for you. Getting into the hardware, an ultra-priced phone should come with 4 camera sensors, covering a wide range of focal lengths, and having sensors built for specific applications. I was a bit torn on the 15 Ultra not having matched companion sensors like my 13 Ultra. There are some pros and cons there, but if you know what the sensors can do, then it can be a strength to have different types of sensors for specific situations. The main wide camera is of course the stunning Sony 1-inch type sensor, the LYT-900, that paired with this lens achieves an equivalent look to a full-frame camera rocking a 23mm lens at around an aperture of f4.5. The ultra-wide is a smaller Samsung JN5. It's a practical option for the widest view on the phone. The medium telephoto swaps us back to a Sony sensor, the IMX858 that we saw on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. The 13 Ultra matched all the companion sensors with this sensor. The lens on the medium telephoto is the one that we want to use for close-up and macro shots. But the long telephoto is where we get the big megapixel numbers. Like Vivo, we're getting a longer reach and using a sensor that's larger than the main camera on a Galaxy S25 Plus. It's roughly the same size as the main camera on a OnePlus 13 or Oppo Find X8 Pro. But for your zoom, this is a big sensor to use on a telephoto, and I don't usually reference this in my reviews, but the selfie camera on the front is an OmniVision. From using matched Sony sensors on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, the 15 Ultra is now using camera hardware from all 3 of the main phone sensor manufacturers. But of course, a camera review is more than just counting all the megapixels and saying HDR and pretty colors a whole bunch of times. We gotta dig a bit deeper than that. And a quick addendum to the audio section, and I have to praise Xiaomi here. Audio from connected mics is significantly better than it used to be. One of the reasons I would lean towards Vivo, the adjustments for audio were fiddly, but the audio processing wasn't as heavy-handed. An example from my recent Boya mic review.
And don't get me wrong, I get it. In tech review land, we kind of zero in on 1 or maybe 2 popular options for any one category of product. If you're a Rode fan, I want you to like your Rode mics. If you're a DJI fan, I want you to keep using your DJI mics. But I think it would be foolish not to pay attention to some of these other contributing players in the space that are making some really impressive products and also putting pressure on companies like Rode and DJI.
And there's a whole section now in the app for additional audio modes, mostly relating to spatial processing, but we can disable the smart noise reduction, which has always been the bane of my existence. I still wish any company would give us the audio controls that LG gave us on the V50, but at least now I can run audio from another source and not have the phone completely destroy it. Whew. So that's where we're gonna bring this plane in for a landing. I'm inclined to call this the best camera phone of 2025, even with an incomplete sampling of phones reviewed. But I still feel like this represents a step forward in some areas and a step back in others. Older Xiaomi Ultras really benefited from that variable aperture, and using it on the 13 Ultra, I could land shots that simply don't work the same on this newer phone. A long exposure of car lights on a dark highway, I like that deeper depth of field and the sharper frame from stopping down. I can still control light with ND filters, but I can't alter the look with a smaller aperture. I really like this new telephoto, but I'm not sure it's a one-to-one trade from the variable aperture. So we're in kind of the same position here as we were with the Vivo. It's not a foregone conclusion that the newer phone will be an upgrade over the last gen or even the gen before. So someone shopping different features and with different needs, you could be better off with a 14 Ultra, depending on what you really want. Still, I can heartily recommend this as the platform to pick for those folks who are looking to do more with a phone camera. It's still exhausting when techies act like we peaked. Aren't all cameras basically the same these days? Because it's always the human. If the photographer is not trying to do more with a phone camera, then yes, all shots will kind of be the same between mid-rangers and ultras. But that's a skill issue, not a camera issue. Precious few phones will rise to the occasion or can be driven as hard as what Xiaomi has done over the last couple generations of Ultras. It's a specific tier: Huawei, Oppo, Vivo, and Xiaomi. When you want the best cameras on a phone, that's where we gotta turn now. And I can tell you that's where I've been turning for almost all of my videos and reviews since receiving this phone. It's taken me so long to just review this phone because I've been using it to review other gadgets. It's been an operations camera, and it kind of slowed me down for finishing this, what you're watching right now. And that might be the highest praise I can give a phone camera like a Xiaomi or a Vivo. I immediately jump into using it. It becomes a part of my workflow. It's like I just forget that I need to spend some time actually reviewing it. Stay tuned, plenty more to talk about. You'd probably want to keep track of what's happening on this channel. Maybe you like to share content from your favorite creators. You'd want to like and subscribe. And I hate to say it out loud, it's like vomit in my mouth, but smashing a bell icon. But the folks who get to see the results of all of my testing and comparisons, my first thoughts, those behind the scenes looks, the people who get all that first are of course my amazing patrons, all of the folks over on patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list of names scrolling by on your screen right now, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart, as these are the folks that are helping to keep the lights on here in the Gadget Lab. They're basically the coolest tech pals in the universe. The conversations we get into really help direct the future of my content and the decisions I make in producing stuff, and they get exclusive access to my full long form videos, like these camera deep dives, not just the camera conclusions. They're basically the coolest tech pals in the universe, so I hope you'll check them out. I hope you'll consider joining the community at patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. Now, you know where you can find me across the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy, basically everywhere, but these days I'm trying to spend a bit more time on the Mastodons, a little on the Blueskis, and a lot less so on the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the Threads, and none at all on that dumpster fire site. And I will catch you all on the next review.